Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
All kinds of scams going on out there. Hamza sent me a note and said, Steve, check out the story from News Nation Now. I got a friend who works there too. But Natalie Clydesdale wrote this story. 3 men accused in $100,000 soda syrup scheme. Soda syrup. We're talking about pop. For those of you in Michigan like me, we call it pop. That's a regional thing. They call like Coca-Cola soda across much of the nation. But here in Michigan, we call it pop. But out of Oklahoma County, Oklahoma, and KFOR apparently is on this one as well, a major soda heist has fizzled out as 3 men in Oklahoma City have been charged in connection with the theft of thousands of dollars worth of Dr. Pepper syrup, which they allegedly resold to the owner of a local gas station. It's according to court records there. The suspects are accused of scheming to steal whole pallets of the syrup from a Keurig Dr. Pepper facility in Oklahoma City over the course of several months. A representative for the company estimates that over $100,000 worth of the stuff was stolen. Now, what do you do with the syrup that you steal? Because the syrup's got to get run through something to turn it into Dr. Pepper, and the average person doesn't have that kind of dispensing equipment. So you presumably have to find somebody with a restaurant or some other place they sell the stuff as it comes out of the thing. So a man was first caught breaking into the facility in October by a security guard, according to court documents. Following his arrest, a regional manager for the company identified him as a former employee who had quit in August. So the guy had worked there, he left, but apparently he came back. Not on the clock. The manager added that the whole pallets of the syrup, which were 5-gallon bags, they're called, had been going missing since May. The affidavit says each bag in a box is worth $98, and a pallet contains 40 units. So you'd multiply 40 times 98 to get... Documents indicated it was the regional manager who began placing GPS trackers in the boxes, which were being stolen, in order to catch the perpetrator. GPS then tracked the stolen pallets over to a nearby gas station several miles northwest of the facility. They later told police that the owner of the gas station was paying the man stealing the stuff $50 for each bag of syrup, which again had a retail value of $98. Court documents show that the man stealing the stuff also claimed that the man at the gas station knew the stuff was stolen. So they estimated that perhaps 10 pallets of the product were stolen while the man was still there, and that's about $39,000 worth of stuff. But he's accused of continuing to steal 2 to 3 pallets every couple weeks after he quit. And the question is whether it was all Dr. Pepper, and it was all going to the one gas station. Does that gas station sell that much Dr. Pepper? Not sure. These are questions we might not have answers to. The total cost of the syrup stolen is estimated over $100,000. A third man is also accused of playing a role in the alleged scheme, but it does not say what his role was. So whether he helped steal it or act as a middleman and again, if I was an investigator, I would try to do the math on this and say, is it possible that all this stuff was going through that one gas station? Because it seems highly unlikely. The 3 are now facing felony charges. We are thankful for the efforts of local law enforcement and are cooperating with them as legal proceedings move forward. That's a spokesperson for Keurig Dr. Pepper, writing a statement shared with Nexstar's KFOR and then passed along to News Nation Now. That's the entire story. And, here's the problem. Anytime you've got people working someplace where they handle stuff of value, people are tempted to steal. And the question is, how easy is it to steal? And how worthwhile is it to steal? Because there are places where people handle stuff that if they stole it, there's nothing they could do with it. Okay? And on the other hand, you'd be surprised that people will steal things. And I've heard stories, for instance, about people who worked in auto plants who stole cleaning supplies. You go, wait, what? Yeah. And it turns out that a big auto plant, gigantic facility, building cars all day long, and there's a room someplace filled with cleaning supplies to keep that plant and that facility clean. So somebody just walks in there, grabs a couple 5-gallon buckets of soap and walks out with them. And now, in a plant that size, the number one thing they're worried about is, as far as things getting stolen, would be, I don't know, car parts maybe, or stuff off the assembly line, machines, tools, I don't know, cleaning supplies. And the weird part is that there are some people who sit there and look around and go, that's interesting. Would anybody notice that if I took it? And I've heard of people who managed businesses who said the weirdest things got stolen. Come in one day and a light fixture is gone. Didn't there used to be a light fixture right there? And everybody's like, what? I'm not sure. And so nowadays with security cameras, as inexpensive as they are, you need to get those things and put them everywhere. And make sure they're recording, and make sure they're time-stamped, and make sure that where they're recording, like where the actual data is being sent, is not available to the same people who are looking around the place looking for stuff to steal. And I know I've also heard stories about people who've installed security cameras. And at first, before people realized they were there or hadn't quite acclimated to the idea, people got caught stealing all kinds of stuff. And now in the old days, when something gets stolen and somebody comes by and they steal this coin, right? This coin disappears. And I go, hey, that coin disappeared. There's only 3 people here yesterday. All 3 of them go, I don't know. No, wasn't me. And you go, well, here's the thing. I've got film of it. I videoed it. I've got a video. Let's go watch the replay. One person, boom. Oh, yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, I didn't know whose this was. And I was going to take it home and show it to somebody to ask them if they could tell me what it was. And now that I realize it's yours and it's valuable, I didn't know that. I'll bring it back. And so the weird part is that I suspect the people at the Dr. Pepper facility probably thought, who in their right minds would steal these bags of syrup that get turned into Dr. Pepper? Don't get me wrong, I like Dr. Pepper. But the point is that you need to find a commercial entity, most likely, to pawn this stuff off on. And a pawn shop wouldn't take it, by the way. But $100,000 of this stuff, and that's the bag's being worth $98 a bag. So yeah, that's about 1,000, just a little bit over 1,000 bags of this stuff stolen. Where would that be going? And so they did the second best thing, which is slap the trackers on it and watch where they go. Because if they had simply videoed what was happening inside the warehouse, they could have caught the guy who was stealing the stuff. But then that doesn't say where it's going. And so the good news here is they actually got people at both ends of the transaction. So that's cool. The other thing is, it does say here that the man was caught apparently somewhere along the line, and it turns out that the guy had worked there previously. So somehow he was breaking into the facility and using that knowledge to get out of there with this stuff. But again, there's a lot of questions here. And like I said, is it really possible that one gas station was doing this? Or is it possible, actually now that I'm reading here between the lines, maybe the owner of that gas station owns several gas stations? Maybe he does. You don't know. Or maybe he's got friends who have restaurants or things of that nature. So it's a crazy story. But Hamza, thanks for sending it. I'm always fascinated by this stuff, but I'm glad to see they caught the person and the persons doing it. 3 men accused in $100,000 soda syrup scheme from News Nation Now and Natalie Clydesdale. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. An optimist is one who believes a housefly is looking for a way to get out.